All right, I am super excited to talk about this Rugged Mountain Blades Wasatch Ridge fixed blade. It's not made by Bullets and Blades, but Bullets and Blades introduced me to Gene the Maker at a Blade Show West of 2023. So I figured I'd give a little plug to Eric. Go check him out on Instagram. It's Blades and Bullets, and he's an awesome guy. He's always selling really high-end custom knives for different folks and has an amazing collection of his own. So go check him out and tell him I sent you. There you go. All right, so this is a very cool... You guys know I'm not a fixed blade guy. I own a few, and I'll pull a couple out here in a second, but I'm not really a hardcore user of fixed blades. I'm not a hunter. I'm not a big bushcrafter, outdoorsy guy. Like, yeah, no. I'm not a fixed blade user per se. So I'm not the target audience of this really, really cool hunting knife. But I can still talk about it and appreciate it and get the word out about Gene the Maker, because I think he's doing some really good work. He is a full-time maker now. He's been making knives for a couple of years part-time, but just over the last couple of months here in later end of 2023, he found himself doing this full-time and stopping the kitchen remodel, kitchen building career that he'd been doing for 10 plus years. He's just a heck of a guy. Him and his wife, Shannon, she was at the show also, and she mostly looked like a willing participant there at his booth. She didn't look so much like a hostage. She may not have been as enthusiastic as some of us guys there, buying, looking, and whatnot, but she's pretty into it, I think. So it was very cool to meet her, to meet him, go out to dinner with them, chat about life and everything else, as I talked about in my Blade Show West recap. So I won't go through all of those details, but how he finds time to make knives, I don't know, because him and his wife, they have 6 kids together. That just seems like a lot to me. 3 boys, 3 girls, mostly grown. I think they're like 16 to 26 in that range or something like that. I don't remember the exact ages. I apologize, but I was paying attention while we were chatting. So let's get on to the knife. This thing is on the light side, but I think that's good. So Gene's brother is an avid backpacker, hiker, hunter, and whatnot. So Gene is always really kind of striving ounces. And how can he make a lighter blade, a lighter sheath, and just make the overall package light? So the knife all on its own is 7.3 ounces. My goodness. I have pocket knives that I carried around at Blade Show that were more than that. Okay. I was carrying the Frank Fisher Battle one day, and that one's like 10 and a half ounces in a folder. So, I mean, I do have lighter pocket knives also, but 7.3 ounces, just the knife with the sheath and the tech lock. It comes in at 11 ounces total. Okay. It's been a long time since I was in Boy Scouts and did the backpacking thing, but I know that you are really going by ounces because you got a lot of gear and a lot of crap to carry around with you. So you're looking for light options, but that are strong and able to handle the task. This thing is super cool. One of the ways he gets the lightness out of it is what you don't see behind the scales. These are micarta scales with a carbon fiber inlay, and we'll zoom in on that in a minute, is there's a bunch of holes in here. He had a blank at the show of a couple different models, and they're very skeletonized in the handle with speed holes, if you will. So he uses micarta pins, linen micarta scales on this particular one, and a mosaic pin for the lanyard tube. So let's just give it a zoom in. I think that's cool the way it kind of got ground down in these wavy textured grooves, if you will, finger grooves. kind of a signature style of his, which I think is super cool. It is very, very, very comfortable. You have so much grip on here, it's crazy. So if your hands were wet, sweaty, snow, rain, animal guts, blood, whatever, this thing isn't going to move out of your hands. I really was drawn to the file work here on the back. And there's some, you can see there's carbon fiber in the little file marks. See if I can get the light a little different there. So there's basically 2 sandwiches of carbon fiber and then the micarta over it. I think it's super cool look. Eric actually owns this knife. Well, not this specific knife, but this model out of a Damascus and kind of a purple carbon fiber. Oh, I got to say, I like Eric's version slightly better than this one, but this is just such a cool knife. I want to take it out in the yard and like chop some bushes with it or something. I'm never going to really use my fixed blades to their fullest potential, but I do have a couple of them right here. Let me pull a couple of these out. These are from Papa Bear Knives. It's not similar, but you know, kind of micarta pins, micarta scales. And then another one here. This is one of the only knives I own that has a lanyard. And I'll show you why. This is a Baker Forged Damascus with epoxy and carbon and copper kind of in between. Super cool. So I run a lanyard on this one just because there's so little to pull this out of the sheath. Even though I'm not really carrying it and working around the ranch or anything like that, this just gives you some grip to it, and it really helps out on this particular model. Okay, one other fixed blade that I have that, again, I don't really carry around and use is the Frank Fisher Fixed Battle. If you follow my channel, you know I'm a huge fan of the Battle model, so Frank made me a fixed blade version. What more can I say about this thing? Some specific sizes and dimensions that I just totally blasted over. 10 1/4 overall. 5 inches of cutting edge. Your blade is about the same. You know, I measure the blade from the tip of the scale usually to the tip of the blade. It's a little different. This is an extreme curve here. But the scale is way out of the way of your plunge grind, so you can sharpen this thing for days. Full flat grind, very, very sharp. Like this thing is sharp. So if you get one, be careful. 0.09 behind the edge where I measured it. Blade thickness is 0.145. This is 80 CRV2, which is great. Super field sharpenable for you guys that are out hunting and doing work. For us collectors that would hang this on the wall or stick it in a toolbox drawer like me, I don't really care what the steel is. Again, 7.3 ounces, 11 ounces with the full Monty. And the handle thickness at its widest is almost an inch. It's 0.963, but it really kind of has this taper. It is swollen in the middle. The grip is amazing. Yeah, this is something that when you grab it and you pull it from the sheath, you just want to go hack something. It's super, super cool. He also does make all of his own sheaths at the house. He doesn't obviously make the Kydex. He buys the material, but he does form all of the sheaths himself at his shop, which is super cool and gives him the ultimate quality control for the products that he sells. I totally don't know those prices. I generally try to stay away from pricing on my channel. But this one, for a guy who doesn't hunt and a guy that doesn't really like fixed blades necessarily, I think it's super cool. And yeah, it kind of makes me want to go hack down a pallet or a 2x4 in my own yard. But, you know, I got to send these back. So I'm going to quash my dreams of hacking through a tree limb or something with this because, well, it's not mine. So anyway, stay tuned. I have 2 more fixed blades from Gene. Let me give you a couple size comparisons because, well, that's what we always do here. Here it is with a Sharpie. The Spyderco Delica, because I think most of my channel is more into the pocket knives. Here Here's something with a little bit of a mirror polish finish. Also, the RJ Martin Q36SS, one of my favorite knives and one that gets carried a ton in my collection. Super slim. Yeah, there you go. I think that's enough comparisons. I think you guys understand. So, Gene, thank you so much. And if you missed my Blade Show West video, basically I had dinner with Gene, his wife, and a few other guys. There were 6 of us. We just chatted around the table. He found out I had a YouTube channel during dinner, and after dinner said, hey, dude, let me give you some knives to fly home with, to review. And like he'd known me for 5 minutes and gave me 3 knives to bring home, check out, and share with you guys. So let me know your thoughts on that, on fixed blades, and stay tuned. I have 2 more. One of them is more of a fighting knife, and one of them is more of a EDC fixed blade. So stay tuned. I will get those videos out shortly as well, so that I can get everything back to him at some point in a relatively reasonable time frame so that he can get them sold and or whatnot. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. If you want, check out my fixed blade playlist over here, and check out my Blade Show recap over here. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.